we don't often get a chance for me and Vlad to watch like a show together. And
he's like, I'm going home. I'm too cold.
No, he turned to me and I was like, Vlad, are you cold? I was like, I don't want you to be uncomfortable. I could maybe raise it. He's like, no, I'm okay. It's your house. I want to respect it. Cause he also knows like how I am about the temperature in my house. And then finally
your lips are blue.
He turns to me with like a tear in his eye. And he turns to me and he goes, Shy, 1 degree, 1 degree, maybe. Just raise it 1 degree.
I just go and raise it myself because I run hot and I freeze at Shy's house.
Well, Shy, I brought my coat over to put in your dryer the second time because I knew I was going to need it. And
so Kristen had to warm up her coat in the dryer in order to wear it. Welcome to another episode of the Friday Night Movie Podcast. But this week, we're going to call it, instead of FNM Friday Night Movie, it's going to be FNM Farnum Night Movie, because my dear friend, a world traveler, an adventurer, a humanitarian, I'm not even exaggerating, this is actually what she is, Kristen Farnum, friend of almost 20 years, is joining us. Kristen, welcome to the family. Well, I mean, you're in the family. You're in the family.
But it's a dream to be with all 3 Corman siblings at once after 19 years of regalia. But Shy, the voice, the intro voice, that's what I was talking about. Some tips so I don't sound like I'm from Ohio.
Well,
should I talk like this?
I mean,
is this better?
That sounds like a different type of voice.
Okay. No. Let's keep it clean.
You should be very natural. Exactly. That is what we call the buttery intro.
I love that buttery intro.
It's a bit from the beginning of the show, and
people come for that.
People come for the buttery intro, and they stay though for the stories. And Lily, please,
I've been dying to tell this story, guys.
You need to tell this story, but like how? Like it can't.
I'll try to be as fast.
Episode.
I'll try to be as fast as possible.
And Kristen, who has many up and close personal relationships or encounters with celebrities, might weigh in throughout just with some director's commentary. So go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna do so fast. I'm at a rooftop hotel bar. I'm not staying at the hotel. I just
in the Canary Islands.
In the Canary Islands in Tenerife. And I'm at this hotel bar with some friends having a drink on a Sunday afternoon. And the lighting was, and I'm just kidding. I'll go fast. And I want to preface this by saying that about in March, my husband was late from coming home. He went to the supermarket to go get something and he was late coming home. And I was so annoyed. And when he took forever. So when he walked in the door and his brother was visiting, I yelled at him and I was like, oh my God, why'd you take so long? Like I need the onions or whatever it was. And he goes, oh, well, we ended up helping a lady coming out of the supermarket. It was, when you buy too much, and she clearly had like bought too much. So we helped her and we carried her bags home for her. And I was like, what a good Samaritan. Now give me like the goddamn eggs or whatever it was. And I never spoke of this again. Cut to rooftop bar, Sunday evening, and having a drink. And I turned to my husband, whose name is Jose, by the way. Jose is his name. And I turned to him and I say, oh my God, at the like group of people next to us is not only Martha Plimpton, which is very cool, Goonies, et cetera, whatever, but the queen from this Viking show that we
The Last Kingdom, which by the way, Kristen's family is both Dane and Saxon. Like her roots.
God.
Like
that's why I keep an eye on them. That's why I keep an eye on them.
I mean, good for you. You must be like a firecracker. Because that combo is amazing. So the show is incredible. I'm sorry. This show is so good. It's rare that the 3 of us go so hard on a show, and this is one of them. And this character is amazing. The queen, she's evil, then she's almost maybe a hero, and she's so complex, and she's such a fantastic actor, Liza Butterworth. And I was sitting there, I'm like, oh my God, that's the queen from, and like Martha Plimpton is cool, but that was like too much for me. I couldn't handle that. So I just was like, let's move on and focus on this. And I was like, that's a queen. That's a queen. Also, he's seen the whole show with me. And he goes, no, that's the lady I helped at the supermarket. And I'm like, no, what are you talking about? I was like, remember the other day I like helped a lady with my brother bring her groceries. I was like, you dumb. There's no way you're confusing it because that's the queen. That makes no sense what you're saying. So I muster up my bravery. I'll wait till Martha leaves because I can't handle that. So she leaves. And she seemed very nice, but like, that's just too much for me. So I then like saunter over to the queen, and Becky and Shire texting me like Eliza Butterworth, who will be known as the Queen Ellsworth. And I saunter over to her and I go, I'm so sorry to bother you and interrupt. I know this is like not cool, but you are the queen. And I just want to say like, we love you and you're amazing. And she was so freaking nice. This woman was so wonderful. And she like jumped up, left her friends and like her crewmates from the series that she's filming currently in Spain. And she just came over and talked to me, not for 1 minute or 2 minutes. I think she talked to me for like a half an hour and just hugged me and was so nice and wanted to hear about the podcast. And she was like, I have to come on the podcast. And she was just wonderful. Which was a lovely surprise. And then my husband comes over and he goes, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's going to fan out too, because he loves the show. And he just goes over and he goes, hey, sorry, didn't I carry your groceries about like a month ago? And she just looks at him and she goes, Alejandro, which is my brother-in-law's name. But to be fair, my brother-in-law is so good looking.
And closer to her age.
And closer to her age. Rick, she's way younger than us. Like here I am. I forget that I'm like approaching 40 and my husband's 44. I think I have like some kind of condition where I think I'm still 28, 30 and she's 28 and my brother-in-law is closer to that age and he's gorgeous. So it makes total sense why he remembered that name. But he just goes like, Alejandro, where's my husband? I was like elbowing him. He did not correct her. And he's like, yeah, we helped you carry your bags. And she's like, oh, you guys were so nice. That's so sweet. And I was like, are you fucking shitting me? I was like, you carried the queen's bag and you didn't recognize her? He's like, we were coming out of a Spanish supermarket. There's no way I put the two together. She looks nothing like she does on TV. Right,
because they make her up as the queen. And also in the last season to be very like old. And she's
old.
Like,
she's supposed to be in her 50s.
Yeah.
Like a bit more frail. And yeah. So he was like, not my fault. Anyways, it was a wonderful experience because those few times where you meet somebody who you admire their work, and she was just so wonderful and sweet and told me about the production she's in now and just all the crew. She was introducing me to the makeup artist, the camera guy, and then there were some people that had worked on Last Kingdom. She was making introductions to some actors and stuff. And she was just so sweet. And it was and she gave me her email address and we're going to hopefully get her on the podcast. And that was an amazing experience. And it's not
like a burner email address. It's like a real one.
It's like a real one. Yeah.
Okay.
But the best part is that my husband and brother-in-law carried her groceries home about a month before without knowing who she was.
But that's it. That's the kind of service Friday Night Movie gives you. Famous or not.
We will carry your groceries.
Send robust Spaniards.
And then like I went back to the table with my friend and we were both like, by the way, no one's ever offered to carry our groceries and we have too much stuff. So shocker, it was like a pretty Hollywood actor.
Big surprise. Alex is out like offering to pick up groceries for
pretty
so
lady.
I just have a quick story. I want you all to know, I hurt my shoulder back in December because of Lily. And
because of Lily.
Yeah,
it was because of Lily.
We went
I think you could blame your wife because I put on activities so that your wife would be happy.
Yeah, that's right. We did axe throwing. I was good for the record. Most people don't believe that part of the story. They believe that
great. You were the best one.
But I pulled my shoulder and I mean, I really hurt it.
Comes at a price.
Multiple doctor's appointments. I've been in physical therapy for months. I had a cortisone shot. And so I was at physical therapy a couple weeks ago and they're starting to break up with me and fire me. They're like, look, man, they keep telling me
help you.
Only a couple more meetings and we think you're going to be ready to be discharged. And I'm like, but my doctor said I need X more weeks. They're like, no, we've had enough of you. Thanks. And I see a different physical therapist and each one at the end gives me the little speech. Like clearly they were at a meeting and they were like, ugh, Carmen, we got to get this guy out of here. He keeps coming back. Cause like, I can just tell. So, but last time when I went, I was rushing it and I had to go to the bathroom before I came in. So I had to borrow the men's room key and I took it. I went to the bathroom And then when I was rushing back in, my physical therapist was waiting for me then. And so I stuffed it in my pocket without thinking. And I went into physical therapy. And then I realized
no one else can go to the bathroom because of you.
So here I'm thinking,
no. God, the women are on this podcast, by the way. Like we are very.
Well, first of all, I took the men's bathroom. I didn't take the women's.
It's just the concept of withholding bathroom privileges from other people.
So I'm sitting there and I'm driving and I'm like, well, and so I drive away and I'm in the car much later when I realized that I've lost it. And I said, well, I'm going back next week, but I had to cancel my appointment next week. So it's like 2 weeks later. And I've rationalized in my head that I'm like, well, surely in this giant building, there are many suites. The staff all have their own bathroom key. They're not all like going and picking a single bathroom key to go to the bathroom, right? Or they have a backup. Well, when I come back, I think to myself, should I even bring the key back? Like this could be really embarrassing.
Wow.
It's not even like at a gas station. I would have to exit, go back around, and I'd bring a gas station bathroom key back.
So I got to be kind of like cash about it. I'm like, no, you know what? I better do the right thing. I accidentally took something of theirs.
Never too late.
So I walk back in and I say, excuse me, I'm really embarrassed about this, but I found this in my car. I accidentally took it a couple of weeks ago and I just want to give it back. The entire staff, not the physical therapist, but the office staff going, it was you. And they're like laughing and booing and talking to each other. They're like, oh my God, we were trying to figure out who took it. We had to call the building and buy a whole new key. And I'm like, you guys don't have an extra key? And then like, it was like,
that was the extra key.
I was like, here I was thinking I was going to do this nice thing and return the key to a discreet doctor's office and no one would say much. And clearly that's not the case. They like made the biggest deal about it. And I was like, I guess I've learned a lesson about being honest. And they said, and so that's my physical therapy story. But I don't know, we've warmed up Kristen, our woman of the
My cheeks already hurt too much to talk, but go ahead, ask me.
This is a pop culture podcast, and you have had like many hilarious, but not hilarious, but I mean, some of them are very funny, but just many encounters because you're in California and you just find yourself in these awesome, but let's go to where it started. You were once almost a child star?
I was. And I have to say, okay, all of these, any of my interactions are either like my family, we like to call it, we know people who know people. They're sometimes they're mostly primary, sometimes they're secondary, but the thing you need to know about even before becoming a almost child star and narrowly avoiding what would have been like 10 rehabs later, if I'd enjoyed any success. You either have some success and you go to rehab, or you have none and you go back to school when you grow up in LA. That's how it goes. I would not even be here if it were not for Jane Fonda. My mother was dating Tom Hayden and Jane Fonda broke them up. My father was dating Laurie McDonald, who later became Steven Spielberg's partner. So my very birthed many
Jaws?
movies. Yeah, Jaws. No, without me, no Jaws. Anyway.
Wow. We are standing in the presence of greatness.
Right. Like of almost greatness, but never really. So this is my first professional firing. I am hired to be Mel Gibson and Sissy Spacek's daughter for The River, 1983's The River. I'm spotted at an art opening in LA. Back when they would send casting people out to events with directors, and they would be like on the spot, no internet, whatever. They're on the spot calling people in. I get hired to be the daughter. I'm working on my lines. They're trying to get me to speak with a Southern vernacular, and Burger King is the thing I cannot say in the right vernacular. And this goes on for days, and it's very frustrating. And then finally they're like, maybe a son would be better for the story. We're just going to switch genders wholesale. So it's like they let me, which I think is like, I think they were just letting me down easy, which is great. I've never seen the movie because
oh my God, that's just too hard. I would never
going to see it now.
Fuck that movie. Never seeing that.
And so then I went
before,
on a couple.
I had no problem with Mel Gibson being in it. I was going to see it. Now,
right, exactly. Forget it. Now I'm boycotting that movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I went out on a couple other cereal commercials. Didn't get any, didn't even get one bite. My parents were like, that's it. Back to the grind, back to school.
I mean,
they may have done you a favor.
I'm pretty happy with how things turned out because now we get to know you. So I think this worked out in our favor that you didn't end up some child star. But
now there was a similar recognition story with Mel Gibson that I thought went along with this.
Yes, there is. So again, this is
that Lily had.
Oh, sorry.
No. You had that reminded me of Lily's story with Jose. Right.
Exactly.
There's a coda to the
my
story.
Grandmother. So yeah, we're fast forward to those big boxy VHS home cameras that come out. My grandmother gets one. We're at this dude ranch called the Alisal that a lot of LA people go to. She's filming us on horseback, yada, yada. There's this guy with a mullet. She starts talking to him. Oh, you're up here with the kids too. He's like, yeah. Speaking with an accent. She's like, oh, where are you from? He's like, I'm from Australia. She's like, it's really far to come from Australia for this dude brand. She's like, oh no, I live in LA. He's like, oh really? This is like Lethal Weapon era, right? She's like, oh, what do you do down there? He's like, I'm an actor. She's like, I'm a dentist. Tough business. And it's just like, best of luck to you, young man. And he's just like smirking. And we are getting this digitized. Like I can provide video evidence of this entire thing. Even though this is a podcast.
Oh my God.
This is being filmed.
Yes, this is a home VHS video of my grandmother rather, like expressing, pitying Mel Gibson for his professional choice as an actor because she's never heard of him or seen him. So he must,
not be doing very well.
No. Lethal Weapon.
Another thing on our show that we've talked about quite a bit is I would say obstetrics. We have two.
Where is this going?
We have a very
it's a real 180.
And things that are Eastern European because of Becky's family. And
we're really drawing some connections here.
And just medical in general.
Hitting all the marks.
They're just medical things in general. And I was serious when I said Kristen is a humanitarian. She's a democracy activist. She was overseas in Ukraine. Was this Ukraine like a long time ago? This is the story takes place. This is pre this horrific war that's going on, invasion by Russia. Because we've touched on all the subjects here, I wanted to make sure you made Lily and Becky feel at home by telling them this combination medical Eastern European story.
Right. So you've already heard about my, circulation problems and gastro problems, Becky.
Well, I haven't heard about your gastro problems.
Yeah, well,
we could do that offline.
We talk but to tie it to Eastern Europe, it's when you're out patrolling with your Russian colleagues who refuse to eat the old pelmenis that are offered to you by babushkas, and like you as a good WASP are like, I'll take more rotten meat, thank you. And then you end up
your stomach can't hack it.
Yeah. And you have heavy metal exposure per Azovstal, and then you have, so that's what we were talking about the other night. But the first obstetric / viral problem, solo, not like gotten through other people, if you know what I mean. I don't know if you're going to edit this out, but I arrive in Ukraine as a ceasefire monitor for OSCE, and it's just in time for this horrible storm called the Beast from the East. It's coming in from Russia and like wreaking havoc on Germany and everything in 2018. So like a lot of us get this random virus. At the same time, back in London, the Brits are discovering, some people that have been poisoned by the Russians at the time. It's all this, like, I have had this terrible virus and a very, very high fever for several days before meeting my office doctor, while I'm starting to get like more and more paranoid, like, why are we all sick all of a sudden? Like, what's happening? Is it from the Beast from the East, or is it like, whatever, are we poisoned? She shows up to my hotel to take care of me. This woman is wearing a floor length fur coat.
Wow. I did not see it going there, but no. I'm here for it.
No. So I'm
special.
like, I open the door and I'm like, I did not order this. Like, I mean, with the makeup, with like all the things. And she's got her equipment. She's very confident, but the English isn't quite there. And my Russian is like barely coming online. And that's the language that would be the only other option. Anyway, she assesses that I have everything from a neurological issue to I've been eating too much popcorn. They're very into like the Russian mapping and cartography goes even into like the body where they're like, well, yeah, this is because your molars have been crushing kernels.
First of all, there's never too much popcorn.
There's never too much popcorn.
That is not an accurate scientific diagnosis.
No, it's not. And she tried to make it with many, many sharp implements on this table. Like this, like, because they're back, like they sterilize everything. I mean, it's not all bad, but like they're not using.
It's not all bad.
Don't worry.
It's not disposable.
They sterilize it.
Tell me the good part.
It's not disposable.
That's the good part of the story.
So the good part of the story is I'm going to work one day after like my third week of being under observation with Dr. Olga, where she's taking me to like every specialist in town, probably with a little kickback, has convinced me at this point that like my whole body's falling apart through a series of translation errors. And she's told me in that part of the world, you go into a pharmacy and you actually buy the injections that you need. They're like medical anthropology. They're new injections. We're into pills. They're new injections. So that's how everything gets delivered.
So like
Tylenol, better off to inject it. Otherwise, how do you know it really works?
People do get a lot of injections here too. That is a shocking amount compared to the United States.
Yeah. So it's like just a different.
Everybody's got like, oh, I didn't feel well. I went to get a shot.
Yeah.
Okay. Of what? Whatever. You know, the thing makes you feel better.
Yeah. And this is just in our office. Like she has a room that she like just keeps bringing back colleagues in for their very painful injections. You need painful injection. I'm like, okay, I can do the painful injection. She's also trying to help me come along with my appearance in this part of the world. She's like, first the inside, then the outside. You need cream, your hair.
She's also selling you a nighttime routine.
A nighttime regimen.
Regimen.
Yeah. She's also an esthetician.
Yes.
All of it. Give you a bikini wax.
All of it. Dr. Olga. And anyway, so I'm walking to work one day. It's like my 4th day of injections. I'm like, guys, just feel good. Just feel stronger. I'm like, oh my God. She is giving me steroids. And I get in there. It's my last day. Yeah, it's my last day of the painful injections.
You're like ripping the door off the handle.
Yeah. And I'm like, Dr. Olga, have you been giving me steroids? And she's like, yes, it's problem for you. I'm like, well, it's not
Roid
now.
rage.
I mean, yeah. I'm like, all right, fine. Give me the last one. All right. But I mean, really, I never had caused any of my injuries to have steroids. And I was like, okay, it's true what people say, only 5 days. And then I've had an OBGYN nurse throwing water in my face to keep me awake for a biopsy because I'm a weak American. And anyway,
and you fainted?
Well, I was about to faint. It was so hot because they were like, oh, you need to have a biopsy. Everything ended up being fine. But they're like, you need to have a biopsy. I'm like, now? She's like, well, she's like, I'm going to take a smoke break. And then when I come back, we'll do the biopsy. And I'm like, what?
Logically.
And I'm like, biopsy for like, and she's like, cancer. I'm like, oh, cancer.
Oh.
Now I'm like, we usually schedule these things a few weeks later, maybe a few days later. And then no. Now I'm like, is it going to be very painful? She's like, for you, yes. You know what I mean? They're like, totally. She goes into smoke break. It's like she's one of these people, like her like medical vocabulary is spot on, but there's no conjunctions or anything else in English. And like my Russian is only the conjunctions, like none of the actual medical.
I'm just imagining like from a side view, of course, but like a movie, like you're in the stirrups and there is the doctor, like, hold on, smoke break. And she's like, just lifts her head up slightly. And it's just like smoking.
Like this is how, I mean, like, this is like no kidding. After the fact, when I asked my Ukrainian friend, who's like, very smart medical background, I'm telling her about this. She's like, oh no, that's how you know she's a good doctor, because she left, had the cigarette outside, washed her hands and came back. I'm like, oh, see, this is good bedside
amazing.
manner. This is good bedside manner. So she has a nurse go outside to like look on the video while she's doing the thing. And she just keeps calling things over her shoulder, which to me sounds like at this point, I'm in the stirrups thinking that what I hear is, do you see the cancer? And she's like, cancer. And she's like, how big is the tumor? Too big to operate. You know, this is like what I'm
imagining. You're interpreting. That's what the subtitles in your mind say.
Because like it all seems not good. So then the nurse is coming and I'm going like this. I'm wearing my glasses. It's a really hot day. I'm going like this just to like, get a little bit cool. The nurse comes back in. She's like, no sleep. Goes over to the sink, gets a cup of water, comes back and throws it in my face. This is so hysterical to me that I start sputtering, like water all over my glasses. I can't see. I'm like, Larry David is my spirit animal. He's writing this out there somewhere. I'm dying laughing. She goes back over, gets one more cup in the face.
Wow.
And the doctor's like, no sleep. She's like popping up. You're in the stirrup. She's like, no sleep. I finished my work. I'm like, okay, you finished your work. And all's well that ended well.
Well, that's the most important.
Thank goodness.
All right.
And also, like, thank you for going around the world and helping the good people in places like Ukraine who want to have a democracy. So, like,
Yeah, all joking aside, it's true.
Small things. And we'll get back to it because I know when we do shout outs, you'll have some Ukraine stuff to tell us about. But let's now talk. I want to also, just as we induct you into the family of the podcast here, I want to play one of our games with you. Now, this is the Comparathon. The name was coined actually by Chris Royce of the Buddies Without Borders podcast. I always say it backwards. And how the game works is I'm going to give you a couple of things. And you have to tell me which one wins, and then we'll go to the next one it's like Mortal Kombat. So like we're going to go to the top of the ladder here. Okay. And I mean, the ladder's a little bit, it's not necessarily top to bottom, but anyways. So these are movies of the summer because the theme, the pop culture theme of this episode, other than these great stories, is looking ahead to the summer and what movies or TV shows we're excited about. And so we're going to just run Kristen through a quick comparathon. All right. And if you haven't seen it, it doesn't matter. Or if you don't even know what it is, that's fine. It's even funnier. I'll try to describe it though. Okay. So Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So the new Marvel
I thought
movie.
You made up that title. I full on thought you made that up. Is that a real title?
That's a real title. That is the name of the movie. But it also shows you how they're not committed to Doctor Strange being a main character because everyone calls it Multiverse, the movie. Like, anyways. Bullet Train with Brad Pitt fighting people on the train. So which one of those wins in those two?
Bullet Train.
Why Bullet Train?
Because Brad Pitt, obviously.
Yeah, he's so like he's just obvious. He's always so watchable for me. So I find it like relaxing I want to see what he's going to be snacking on. That's trivia for future trivia games. And I like to support choreography in movies. There looks like there's going to be some good martial arts choreography. They're silly with it. They're trying to have fun. It's a little uplifting, even though people are getting beat up.
All right, cool. All right, okay. Now,
and the art direction.
Oh yeah, that does look like a very cool looking movie. All right, now Bullet Train or Downtown Abbey: A New Era, which I guess is a new era. Is that like Friday the 13th, a new beginning? Like, is it like, are they dead and they're going to come back to life?
No, it's literally a new era.
Downtown.
There's like another era of history. No one knows what you're saying because it's Downton.
Okay.
But is it still the same like wealth stratification? I get nervous watching that too. It's just like, it's like because I always think I'd be one of the people living downstairs and then it would be terrible. And you're just trying to evade like abuse of power constantly.
They make them seem quite happy.
Really?
Make them seem quite happy.
They look like they're having a great
butler
time.
Is a higher calling. Like this is a big deal. And that's where the partner, I'm like, but was it that much fun?
So Bullet Train or Downtown Abbey?
Bullet Train.
Okay. Bullet Train or Thor: Love and Thunder, which is the new Thor movie where he has love and thunder.
Oh shoot, this is.
I mean, I know the story a little bit. Jane Foster. His girlfriend from the first two movies who disappeared because they didn't want to pay Natalie Portman are now paying her again. And she's going to become female Thor and Thor
Which makes
for a while, and then
no sense.
I mean, I'd rather watch Bullet Train. I see what they're trying to do with Thor, and like I said at the beginning, I think that hiring Natalie Portman for this role,
rehiring her
to the rightful controversy over casting goes to show that to play the Viking, potentially white supremacist, but then it's not white supremacist, and they have someone who's Jewish playing someone who's a Viking. I like this politically.
Interesting.
I would just think it's Taika Waititi, so it's going to be fun.
That's the only thing that's keeping me on board.
All right, so Bullet Train or Thor? I don't remember now.
Which one did you choose?
She didn't.
I think
I'd rather watch Bullet Train.
Okay, all right. Bullet Train or the movie Lily is going to be playing at her 6-year-old's birthday party. It's called Black Phone. Ethan Hawke. They like horror movies. Ethan Hawke.
She knows what it's about.
Playing a child murderer with a haunted rotary telephone that the kid who he's kidnapped
calls to play it at his birthday party because he already had it. And by the time it's his next birthday party, everyone will have seen it.
Black Phone 2 will be out.
You're wrong.
It's so scary. I could barely get through the trailer, but that is a ringing endorsement for anybody who's into the horror genre because it looks like it's
Ethan Hawke scary. Come on.
He's wearing the masks are scary.
Okay, the mask is scary.
100% play scary. He can play.
I'm pretty sure he's always just hot and very indie. So I don't know.
Lily, don't you watch all those
about.
Insidious horror movies? This is from those people.
He's not in that. Yeah, but no, he's in the.
That's Patrick Wilson.
Right, that's Patrick Wilson. He was in the one where the Annabelle dolls originally from, whatever that one was called. I'm only thinking The Conjuring. I think he's in that.
I think
it's a very scary movie, though.
It gives me the same anxiety.
But he's a good guy. He's not a bad guy.
It's like season 1 of True Detective's anxiety level. So that's good. If you're into if you want to be scared.
Right. So Bullet Train or Jordan Peele's new movie, which I saw the trailer again for last night. Nope.
For the music supervision alone. I think it's
awesome.
I love how specific some of your answers are.
I mean, it's insane. Your answers are insane. Like unbelievable. You're right. The Conjuring is Patrick Wilson. It's not Ethan Hawke.
I said it was.
Lily's just giving people
it is Patrick Wilson.
Ethan Hawke misinformation everywhere.
I'm just saying Ethan Hawke is not a bad guy. Number one. Okay. Number two, the amount of specificity you have as to why you want to see these Summers movies is over the top.
What about his music direction? The music direction do you like for his movies, or the sound? What is it you said? The musical
music supervision. So supervision. Like how they're matching what they select with which scenes. And again, I've only seen the trailer, but he's known for having in-depth. I mean, he's known for taking music very seriously, as is his wife Chelsea Peretti, who, as we all know, released a Grammy Award-winning album on Coffee, which we love. I just think that he knows how to employ it in a horror context where there's the enjoyable music where you're like, I want to look that up. Oh, that's a soul track nobody's ever heard. That's a B-side, whatever. And that which one of the main components of any horror movie being scary is the music or the composition and how you're utilizing it. So I think it's and when I worked in the industry many, many moons ago, I was partial to music supervision myself, or just thought, of all the jobs you could have, that one always seemed consistently cool.
Funny you mentioned that, because Becky has told me that I would be a good one. I started looking up though, all the work that goes into it. Oh, you think so? Okay,
it's
good.
grueling, but you'd love it.
You don't have to necessarily personally take care of the licensing. You could just pick the song and then you have someone working for you.
It's the creative part.
Shai, you love to do grueling work when it's something that you love. That's the thing. Is that when it's something you're not interested in, forget it.
Learning how to program a light show. Top of Shai's list of weird things.
Get you to lift a finger, but then if there's something you're into, you will obsess over it. So maybe this is a great career change for you.
Maybe.
But I think you're right though. His film.
But I was reading on articles about it, and they say go intern in a symphony, and it was very. I was like, what? I don't know. Okay, now let's see. So you pick Nope. Okay, so Nope, and a very different movie. This is a spin-off from the the Toy Story universe, but it's also kind of meta because it is taking place in the world where we are in the Toy Story universe, but the Buzz Lightyear TV show on which Buzz Lightyear the toy.
No, I think it's the movie. It's the movie that the Buzz Lightyear toy
is based on.
So we are watching a movie inside a movie.
But that means
as if
this
it's
movie
real.
Released in like 1995 then?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's as if it's real too. So we are watching a movie as if it is real, but that universe is a universe within a universe, right? Because this is Buzz Lightyear as like a real dude with a group of.
This is what the toy would have been based off of.
Yes.
Which is amazing.
Now it all
makes sense why it's not.
I mean, it feels like the backstory no one needs.
No.
I mean, no one asked for it, no one needs.
But it looks great. He's a great character.
Yeah. I mean, I think that movie for me falls in the category of when I visit my friends who have kids and after it's released, like, streaming, and they give me like options of what I want to watch with them, I would pick that.
Actually, pick Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers though, because that was
very good.
Amazing.
Really?
Except this has Chris Evans. This has Chris Evans, and even though it's just his voice.
Well, and the successful execution of the pull my finger joke, and even elevating it that one step further.
Such a great moment in the trailer.
He's like, well, me and your grandma. Ew. I mean, just like, it's genius.
All right.
So
All right. Excellent choice. All right. Nope. And Top Gun Maverick. You spent
it's like time. There's no question. Nope. I don't get. Or can I say this on this show? Do you want me to say that?
You don't give a shit about Tom Cruise? Is that what you're going to say? How dare you?
Yeah, because
whatever you want.
I have an active disdain for the church.
That's fair.
Scientology.
I think that's absolutely fair. If that church has turned you off to the cruise, then that's your choice.
Well, like when you grow up in LA and you know enough people that are, have dropped out, and their kids have had weird things.
I do have so I was describing it to my kids the other day because they didn't really know who he was, and I was telling them about this new movie that came out, and I was explaining to them, I tried to describe, because I never want to, as a Jew in particular, I never want to knock someone's religion, right? Like their beliefs, like they can believe whatever aliens they want.
Absolutely.
So I really referred to the organization because the organization
separate thing
has that he's very involved in, has done some arguably terrible things. So that's
important
I think that's a distinction that you would make as well. Like when you say you have an issue with it, it's the way some people have an issue with their organized religion's church. It's not like people who believe things that are different than me are bad. I wanted to make sure to.
Yeah. Or if you want to leave something, there shouldn't be a legal or financial
obligation to stay.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
But very important distinction.
For Jews, it's really simple. No one's going to go after you, but you also never really out.
Exactly.
It's like no one's going to stop you. No one's really going to stop you, but but also that's not even us. Other people will remind you if you try.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. No matter what, if you want to get out, you still can't get out. Ask
the Jewish population of Spain. Okay, and then last but not least, a movie whose we'll get to this later when we talk about So Nope or Jurassic World, it's either 3 or 6 depending on which.
Right. Depending on how
Jurassic World, Dominion World.
Where they're coming back, right? Isn't Laura coming back?
As far as I can tell from the trailer I saw, is a velociraptor who has
a baby.
Ask Chris Pratt to go and save its baby.
It's a single mom. She seems like she's a single mom.
Yeah, yeah.
And Jeff Goldblum is there, which is that's a big thing. A Goldblum situation.
It's a Goldblum situation. Sam Neill.
Samuel all coming back?
Yeah, it's everybody.
So then it's part 6.
Yeah, everybody's in.
I can't get into dinosaur movies.
Okay.
I mean, I've
That's
tried.
So weird. Why? That's such a weird thing to say.
Right.
I don't know.
It makes sense. So they're not real, and they're often really bad movies.
I'm going to get to this one because this is was this my rent? No, this was my rent, and now it's a meh. So I'm just moving it down to my meh. This is my big meh. So I'm going to get ready for me to attack this movie like a velociraptor. And so, but we'll get to it, which is, my attack is absurd. If you know what kind of movies I like they'll just be like, who are you? Why are you? Okay. So Kristen, it's fair to say your big summer look aheads that you're most excited for, your big buys, as we say in Friday night movie parlance, are Nope and Bullet Train.
Correct.
Okay. Amazing. Lily, what are you most excited for this summer? What are you buying?
I'm buying Nope because I'm so excited. I just
out July 22nd. This is where we have to be helpful, to our audience,
to people. Yeah. But I don't know that. Like, I feel like these days though, it's very stressful to know where things are being out.
Absolutely, yes.
Like, is it streaming? Is it theaters? Like, where the hell is it? Like, it's so hard. If before it was hard, now it's impossible to know. Is it both? Is it first the movie theater, then the streaming? Is there no streaming? Because some people are so serious about the no streaming. I just feel like at some point I'll run into it and then I'll know. But I'm very excited. I no longer believe in like watching things when they premiere. That makes no sense to me. So I'll find it eventually, and I'm excited to see it one day. I'm really excited to see Elvis because I think Baz Luhrmann is a genius, and I love him. I love his work.
He does such an amazing job with the like creepy older maestro type character,
which is
Tom Hanks as Colonel Tom Parker is just it looks incredible. And Allie leaned over to me watching the preview and said, "Hey, is that guy a real character?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, he is." And I'm so excited to see even like a surreal Baz Luhrmann take on him, but it deserves this treatment.
Yeah. I'm super excited about that. And it's always good when someone in the family of a biopic signs off on it, and Lisa Marie Presley said that it was amazing. And I'm like, it makes me feel good to see it then if she was on board.
Lily's doctor, if she's worried, gives her a biopic, by the way.
What did I call it?
What did I say? Biopic wrong? All the time. It's a biopic.
A biopic? Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
I've heard it both ways. Yes.
I've heard
it both ways.
All right. Keep rolling.
I don't often pronounce things right. I said Lightyear. I'm so excited. Chris Evans. It's like adorable. And, it's great when there's a kid's movie that's tolerable. So I'm excited. Especially if you have kids. Then there's this Spanish film that I just shout out to Spain. Yay. Official competition out June 17th. And it's Antonio Banderas and Penelope Cruz, who it's a kind of a take on filmmakers and actors trying to make an Oscar winning film. And it's sort of like a comedy, but that, it's drama that doesn't take itself seriously. And it just looks really funny, and all the industry, ridiculousness to try and make a film that's going to win an Oscar. I'm really excited to see that. Then Bodies, which is, that's out June 17th. And then Bodies, which is out August 5th, which just looks like a horror comedy. That looks great about,
that's on, you took the first one off of my list. Stick to your list.
Well, I wrote my list.
Sisters.
You don't get
Becky,
to
I wrote my list.
No, it is on.
It's literally on my list.
All right, you want to see Bodies?
But I wrote my list before yours, so I don't know.
It's not on your list on the outline.
It literally is. Can you read? Out August 5th. Okay, because I wrote
Bodies time 3 is not.
Well, I'm not going to write the words bodies. I'll let you talk about it. Okay, I'm not going to.
I am not typing that much.
I'm not talking. I'm not typing the word bodies 3 times.
How much?
Jeez, I have places to be. I'll let you talk about it. And then
I'm not talking about anything. I have nothing to talk about.
I'm so excited. There's movies that I want to see. I don't really care about shows, although I know The Boys, premieres today, season 3. But I'm just sort of like, I don't know.
Wow,
I'm not
another season already.
Yeah, I guess not that. But I am interested. Becky and I talked about this, The Bear, which is Jeremy Allen White's cooking chef type show. That's out June 23rd on Hulu. So I love that guy. I don't know if the plot looks good at all, but that guy's such a great actor. I'm excited that he was in Shameless. I'm excited to see him in something else. So yeah, that's my list for buy.
All right, Beck, do you have anything left that Lily didn't mention?
I'm trying. I've taken
get
off
in first, man. I wrote mine the second this outline was put on the Google Drive.
Because she made it very clear at the beginning of the episode, she doesn't care about my movie watching schedule. She has no investment in anything I'm going to watch.
I mean, literally the schedule, like what time of day you're going to see these movies.
So I have nothing to add then.
Tell us about Bodies times 3, which is the other way to say it.
The movie I'm interested in seeing is Bodies, not Bodies X3. Okay? Looks like a horror comedy. I want to see it. It's the only kind of horror I like is horror comedy. Then I have a couple of other ones that she managed not to put on there. There's one coming out on June 17th. I don't know where though, called Cha-Cha Real Smooth. I don't know exactly what it's about, but I know that the main character is like a young guy out of college who's an animator at bar mitzvahs, the guy that gets the party started. Was to get kids on the dance floor, and Dakota Johnson in it, and I think it's some sort of quirky friendship movie. But I love the fact that that's his job, because no one ever talks about those unsung heroes of the bar mitzvah dance floor. So that watch the trailer; it makes it look very adorable. And then there's another movie coming out also this summer called Vengeance that BJ Novak wrote and he stars in it. I don't know if he directed, but I think he wrote it and he stars in it. And he's a podcast host or a podcast producer
he directed it also.
He do with his brother. His brother's in a scriptwriter too, right?
Yeah, and the preview looks fantastic. A podcaster from New York City who's a woman he was involved with but wasn't serious with dies, and then he ends up investigating her death in this town in West Texas where she's from, and fish out of water, but also crime investigation thriller sort of thing. So it looks like a really fun. That looks like to me like a good Friday night movie. So that one I'll add, but everything else is taken. So.
All right. And
then, and I would say I'm looking forward to seeing Top Gun Maverick, but I don't know if I'll be able to see it.
I saw it. So I'm not going to add it in my look ahead. Reservation Dogs season 2 is coming. That show is masterful. And
that's August 3rd.
Super Pets. This is just a nod to my kids. Super Pets, July 29th. It's about Superman and Batman's dogs. I don't know, solving.
I love that part of the book about the kids' book about the superheroes, and you get to the page and it talks about their pets. It's such a great part of the book. Why not make a movie about that?
I have to say, I know a lot about superheroes. I did not know about this. My kids are so excited. It's going to be out right when they come back from camp. I can't wait to take them. All right, let's move on to what we're renting. What we're renting. Lily, take us to. Actually, no. Let's start with Farnum, since we haven't talked in a while. What are you renting for the summer?
Well, I may have. Speaking of notes, I might have misunderstood in terms of splitting this all up. So I'm going to have to go off the cuff here, but. It's movies only, not series.
No, it can be series. Just something that's in the middle of your rankings, like something where you're think of it like when we were kids. If you were renting something, it's not, you weren't spending the $29.99 right. The copy.
Yeah. Sounds like I'm reading your notes. It sounds like you got this right.
Okay, well, but I mentioned.
Well, you said some movies earlier. Just I didn't know how detailed you were going to get on some of these, so
Well, yeah. I'm nothing if not specific in my criticism. And I feel badly because I don't want to be tearing all of these down. But I will say, here's something.
It just means that you wouldn't own a copy of it, but you'd like to see it.
Right. Okay. So, or I borrow a screener. Yeah. Sure. Stranger Things season 4, which I did download and wasn't able to watch on the plane because I couldn't find my AirPods. I've heard the criticism about it, but
I'm in the middle of it. It's all right.
Okay, so I'm putting it in that category, the first 3, or first 2 seasons, let's say, super bye, third. So that's in my rent. It's obligatory at this point, but I still know that I'm going to be entertained.
I'm really worried about you not finding your AirPods on a plane.
Oh, no, because I left them in Marin County and I didn't realize it until I got.
So you didn't even have them.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Hope it was a short plane ride.
Well, no.
Okay. Well. You're brave.
But I did. So instead, what I did was I used their like terrible little like ones you put in your ears and watched Dog and so I couldn't actually watch. I don't know what was being said, but it seemed like cute.
Miles Teller and a dog.
I'll watch anything with animals in it, even if I can't hear what Channing Tatum is saying. Especially if I can't hear what Channing Tatum is saying. But yeah, and then comedy specials. That's what I'm really. HBO Max has a couple new ones out. We talked about the Moses Storm one, didn't we already, Shai?
I don't know if we did.
Oh, you got to see this. No. When I was in town, I thought, okay. Trash White is his recent special, which is, it's like one part. I know this is going a little bit, but I have to give this a plug because it's like one part performance art, one part sculpture art. He creates the entire stage. Like if you follow him online, he's like created everything that he then performs with. And the comedy and storytelling is really awesome. And then Jared Carmichael is the other HBO Max one I'm looking forward to watching. Yeah. All right. Those are my answers.
Awesome. That's terrific. I love it. All right. Lily, what are you looking forward to renting?
Renting Jurassic Dominion because like whatever, it's fun. I'll see it, but I'm not gonna like spend energy trying to find it. Doctor Strange, I don't know. There's just Cumberbatch. I like that story. If I had to see one of those movies, but again, twist my arm.
And Sam Raimi directing. Come on, you're a little bit interested.
Sure, yeah, I'm like a little bit interested. But of all those movies, actually, that's the one that I actually do like. Hustle, the Adam Sandler basketball movie. I'm like that. I want to see. That seems fun for the summer.
Yeah.
And then Day Shift, where Jamie Foxx is killing vampires as a dad or whatever. Sign me up.
Oh,
that's
I've never even heard of that.
That's a Netflix show, right?
It's a movie. I don't know. It's a movie. It's August 12th.
Okay.
And then August 24th, let's round out the summer with a little Ryan Reynolds and Welcome to Wrexham documentary type show about his
coming out?
The real life Ted Lasso. Yeah, on August 24th.
Oh, yes.
So those are all things I'll happily watch for free on TV.
All right, Beck, what are you
for streaming?
So don't get mad at me, Shai. But what I'm adding to the list, I'm going to add to Lily's list. I don't know actually when it comes out. Hold on. I'll start with the one I've been double check her release.
People can Google. So, I don't think we have to say all the dates.
Because you said it was, but I want to make sure it's a summer release. I don't know that it's a summer release.
I'll check.
That's a different story.
But I'm going to start with this movie. This movie I just saw a preview for called Man from Toronto, which comes out at some point this summer. I don't know what it's about. It has Kevin Hart and it's some sort of a funny assassin movie. But it's one of those movies where had I just seen the preview, I'd been like, I don't know if I'm going to watch it. But because it's called The Man from Toronto,
you were sold.
I'm really interested because I really love
Woody Harrelson.
That's August 12th. That's August 12th.
And it has Woody Harrelson.
I mean, if there's no actors from Toronto in that movie, though, that is a representation crime.
I'm hoping there's going to be some good Toronto. Did I tell you who was I having a conversation with the other day? And I said Toronto, and they didn't know what word I was saying. I said such and such. My in-laws used to live in Toronto, and they're like, "Where is that?" And I'm like, "Toronto." And anyways, apparently it's pronounced Toronto. Toronto. If you're from
another name you can't pronounce is in this movie. The actress from The Flight Attendant,
Kaylee
Cuoco. I finally got it. I love that show.
I can't wait. Tell me how's it because I don't know how to say her name.
I thought it was Katie. I thought it was Katie Cuoco for the longest time, and apparently she has L's.
Kaylee Cuoco. And Becky just called her Kaylee Cuckoo.
You know what? This is like a real sidebar. Okay, so don't be annoyed with me. Of course, I want to, in theory, buy She-Hulk because Tatiana Maslany's in it, and she's the greatest actress of all time ever.
Then you'd have to watch something with Hulk.
But I did watch the preview, and I'm like, oh, it's like about Hulk. I don't know. Like
story.
The fact that she's in it is what's going to get me to rent it.
But She-Hulk is like a badass lawyer. She's not the same as Hulk.
It's the dumbest character ever.
I believe you. The only reason I'm willing to rent it is because
I honestly know nothing about the character, but I just don't care if Tatiana's in it. I'll watch it. I'm going to watch it.
I'm only watching it because she's in it.
Have you ever seen Orphan Black? Kristen, you ever seen Orphan Black?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, she's amazing. Okay. All right. I'm renting The Boys season 3. I almost would have met it, but when I was at South by Southwest, they had a whole Boys Amazon Prime like pavilion where they made you feel like you were in the theme park that Vought has created. And the burgers that they gave away at the Vought
I can't believe how
burger
much
were
money they have. That's amazing
honestly
that they
the
did
best
that.
cheeseburger I've had.
Jeff Bezos
Every
can't buy a
single-
few people some,
Every single person was eating those cheeseburgers,
Mm.
being like, I don't know what they put in these burgers, but these burgers
that
are amazing.
blue Vought juice. That's what
Yeah.
they're putting in there.
Probably. All right, now let's get to the most fun part. And this is what gets a big meh for the summer. I'm going to start, actually. I'm going to mess with that. And I will say, for obvious reasons that we've talked about on the show, I'm not excited for Never Have I Ever season 3. I am going to watch it. So it's a meh.
You have to do your duty.
It's a
of
meh
watching.
for past crimes, but it's also a meh for I'm going with trepidation, hopefully that maybe the Jewish characters on that show have some sort of like good
I'm
quality.
gonna make you want to bet they double down.
Fair enough. All right. And then Jurassic World. Here's my issue with Jurassic World. Okay. Follow me here. Okay. I really and I'm saying this to Allie last night, who's like, what are you talking about? Like, just watch the dinosaur movie. I'm like, look, that first movie and the book, it's science fiction. It's supposed to have some sort of basis in science. They cloned the DNA, they made the things, they grew them. Okay. You cannot train a fox to live in your house. What's their names? Siegfried and Roy's tigers ate them. Okay. I cannot fathom.
You just can't get behind it.
He
You
is
can't.
best friends with the
unconscionable.
velociraptor.
He's with a single mother velociraptor, and he has to save
she
her
is
baby.
asking him, like the scene in the commercial is him negotiating with the velociraptor, saying, "I will bring the baby back."
Yeah.
I just can't like that.
It's like one step away from Flipper at this point.
Right, exactly. It's one step away from Flipper, and like everything else, the dinosaur, and also this is really like should have been a one movie. Like every time they're just like, this is the biggest predator ever. This is the fastest predator ever. This predator has mind control. We are in Godzilla Mothra territory here,
It's a lot.
And they did away with like the first one, like the opening scene where I think it's the opening scene. They're flying. It's in Kauai. They're flying in like a Cessna or something. Like that's real cinematography. Like you can drive. I've driven up that road. You can check it out. Like they're also combining real movie making, or at least what I would term real movie making. And it's just like too much CGI. It's too much.
Spielberg cloned real dinosaurs to make that first one, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
Yeah.
I now they can bump it from a meh to a rent if they do a like loungy shirtless Jeff Goldblum shot in this movie as a callback to the first one.
Absolutely.
All right.
There was a good tagline. Last thing about it. They're in the trailer. One of the women driving their vehicle turns and says, "Everybody hold on to somebody." And I feel like that's 2022 global theme. Everybody hold on to somebody.
That's cool. All right, I like that. Okay, Becky, what are you mad out about?
I want to let's just start with the baseline of life. The world is a difficult, scary place, especially right now. It's difficult. It's scary. You wake up every day. This is a difficult, scary world. I don't need to, for fun, make my life scarier and have more things to be terrified, more reasons to take Xanax before bed. Like I have enough. I don't need more. So anything that's just like horror for the sake of being horror, I don't want it. I'm not going to watch the Black Hat Phone, whatever it's called. Like I'm not watching that. And honestly, reviews I've read, the black phone.
It's too much. It's too scary.
I refuse to see Ethan Hawke as a bad guy.
Too.
That's why I'm not watching.
I would like to finish Stranger Things. The reviews I read have said it's basically Nightmare on Elm Street. You know what? No thanks. Goodbye.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
done. All right.
I was talking to somebody.
Hopper's in a gulag. I don't need to see more then because
that's someone I was talking to about
on a regular day-to-day basis.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
I'm pretty terrified. I don't know why.
It's really not scary though.
To me.
It's the least scary season though. I have to say it's really
that's like my husband telling me, "Don't worry,
it's not spicy.
This hot sauce isn't spicy." What does that mean?
And then Pepper Bottom the next day is
right
ruling your life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, over to Lily.
The House of the Dragon Sons or whatever.
House of the Dragon Tattoo.
Oh, any of these
What is
fantasy
that?
prequels?
I don't give a shit about the Game of Thrones blonde people. Like,
Right, the worst group in that whole
what
show.
made them think anybody needed A, more of that show, B, more of the worst characters on that show?
Yes.
When none of the very few good characters will even be alive.
Exactly.
They're like, this is thousands of years before. I'm like, you're not selling it.
Not the origin story.
Yeah, like
With
honestly,
incest.
could give two shits about that show.
Talk
So that's
about
on my
like
map.
marketing to a niche audience. It's like, who are the people that are really into incest stories? Let's give them an entire fantasy series.
Look, this is the problem with I mean, it's terrible these days with fans and everything, but it's not really about like people say like obviously there are toxic fans, but like once you break a universe, you cannot unbreak it. And I like the end of Game of Thrones.
There's no amount of prequel that's going to fix it.
But like once people like fall out of love or that like the spell, because think about like our culture does not like nerdy things like Game of Thrones. Like there's a niche group of people who like that, but this was mainstream. And once they snapped the regular world out of it, no one's going to be like, I really need more Targaryens. Instantly, everybody forgot where the Iron Islands are.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. So
I'm with you, Larry. Okay,
that's fine.
Kristen, take us home. Anything you have or you haven't mentioned that you are met on?
Well, I wanted to mention that I had one more thing about Top Gun. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to go watch it, but I will say that someone whose opinion I really
twice
trust.
in 24 hours, right?
Right. No.
Okay.
But
someone on this podcast.
This guy, I mean, but so we see, so one of you seen it. He was like he said it was definitely better than the first one. And that there was like, some messaging to be taken away for, I think, middle-aged people in particular, which I of course identify as such. So if you're willing to go, it's okay to go support Top Gun. It's meh for me. And to echo what Becky was just saying with Doctor Strange, like too much dystopia, horror. I think I'm looking more for comedy in the summer, looking more for even rewatching some things. And one show I wanted to plug before we go, this is like totally separate, but I've never asked you.
That's the next part.
That's the next. Just go right into it. Go right into it. Take us home. Take us home with some Rex.
I'm wanting to rewatch Wilfred. Did you guys ever see Wilfred?
Wilfred was too odd for me.
Really?
But maybe it isn't now.
Well, do you know that it was organized by like Buddhist, some scripture. I mean, even though they're using like terribly foul language and all of this, it's like each title in the series. And I really didn't
understand what that was about.
It's about like the 9-path or the ninefold path. Anyway,
did it finish?
You know what? I think they didn't get picked up for the last season. Maybe it did not finish.
But that's Elijah Wood?
It's Elijah Wood. And, more importantly, that Australian comedian in a dog suit.
Right.
It's about, so things need to be comedic, even if they're darkly comedic, or have an animal component. I'm also watching Growing Up Animal, which is good for the kids. Check it out.
And you are recommending, which I recommended last week, The Greatest American Rescue Dog Show.
Yes. I know a contestant who was in the underbite category, as you know. So, I'm partial to the underbite category.
Seems delightful.
Now, in terms of other shout outs and Rex, I know you have like more serious shout outs and Rex.
Yes, I have one serious shout out through the American Ukrainian House. This is a nonprofit located in California dedicated to promoting relationships between the United States and Ukraine, before just doing sort of generic stuff like business development and things and charitable works. Now they have a few campaigns they're running, one of which is called the Dnipro campaign. If you go to their website, it's the third box down. Dnipro is spelled DNIPRO. If you feel like making a donation to medical supplies and things that will help children, to include art therapy and some trauma treatment. A very wonderful group of people that I personally know in Ukraine are making that happen. Every single penny goes to goods. There's no salaries, there's no admin cost. All that stuff is covered elsewhere. But if you want to have a direct impact on internally displaced persons who are coming out of the east of Ukraine, where some of the most intense fighting is happening, that is where I would recommend putting some money.
Thank you. That's awesome. And I have joined you in that. So
you certainly have.
Friday Night Movie family is there. So
I didn't know if I was allowed to say, but I just, Shy.
Don't say the amount. I don't mean.
No, of course not. Well, please, we're not going to talk about money. Jeez. Yeah, but I mean,
we're not.
No, no, please. But it was very, after my friend Maka Gabelia, who I'd also like to give a shout out to, she is the one who has coordinated all of this with our friend Kirill on the ground. And she laid it all out to you and Ali, and you guys acted, and then we cried. We were so touched. Thank you.
It's amazing what they're doing. I don't have anything. I can't really shout out and recommend over that. So I'm just gonna let my
well, then should we also not? Should we not shout out?
I mean, you can.
No, you can come on, shout out.
I mean, I want to shout out to Kristen for being on the show and being as good
and the amazing work you do
that I thought you would be.
You guys all do amazing work too. And Shy, I feel like we've been fighting the good fight for 19 years, and we knew even when we were that age, we didn't know exactly where we would end up professionally or what institutions, but there's a thorough commitment.
Or what gynecologists
for that matter. And I should say, like, Dr. Olga was a good doctor. I don't mean to undermine.
I mean, you look like you're doing great. So she must have been.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for the cream to come in. But anyway, I'm thrilled to have been a part of a Corman session.
It was so much fun to have you on.
Well, I'm just going to do a quick.
This is what we live every day.
Right. Okay, so I'm just going to do a quick rec that my 6-year-old found this on Netflix, which is called Animals on the Loose, a you versus wild movie. This is really for kids though, because it's so absurd that as an adult, I had a bit of a hard time. However, the joy it brought, this
Are
tiny
they friends
human,
with the dinosaurs? Because
no.
Obviously, I'm out of that.
No. The joy this brought this 6-year-old, that then we went out for dinner and he literally retold the entire experience of watching this to us at dinner.
Becky,
from a 6-year-old perspective.
That amazed you about Lily's child, that you would tell the story?
I was in
you would tell in great detail over the course of hours the entire history, like in every
plot
scene
of a movie
you watched. Did he give you origin stories?
Did he say, hold on, I'm going to make this really short to start?
Hey, my Queen story was very short for me.
In his scratchy voice. Oh, yeah, scratchy voice.
He's such a cute scratchy voice. But this is a Bear Grylls, that survival guy.
Oh, I love that guy.
Right? Okay.
Even though he was staying in a 5-star hotel. Anyway, go on.
I mean, that is literally makes me like him more.
I know. I'm like, who cares?
Because I'm like, no shit, you're in a 5-star. You must be cold and like so wet, and nobody believes you're eating all that stuff, and then like not going to get a burger. Yeah. So good for you. So this is definitely even more contrived than the other stories, because it's a movie where he's in the Horn of Africa, and the animals have escaped the sort of reserve area. Some poachers.
So he's now turned himself into a fictitious character. Is it?
Yes,
animated?
it's as if he's a fiction. No, it's not animated. So my son was like losing his mind. And wait, so he has, for example, he's trying to get the animals back into the reserve and get the power back on. But you have to. It's a choose your own adventure. So as you're watching, you have to pick: should he swim or should he try to build a raft? Should he eat the worm or should he eat the berry? Should he try to get the anaconda off his neck by pulling it or swimming? And when he fails, he has to like do a flare thing that then the rangers have to come get him. And then it goes back to the beginning of the chapter and you chose wrong. And and eventually when you do this thing so many times until you can watch the whole movie, you eventually get the animals back in and he wins or whatever. But I've never seen a kid be this into. It was so cute. So yeah,
Wait,
that's
but
called
did he like
Animals
that
on
more
the
than
Loose.
Thundercats, which I turned him on to?
No, he really loved
Thundercats.
Thundercats. He loved Thundercats. He did love
See?
Thundercats.
Even you see if he was here, that's exactly what I said to him. All right,
did love
Kristen, do you want people to wait? Becky, did you want to add anything?
Oh, I'm okay.
That's cool. All right, me too. Kristen,
I
do
might have
you
been
want
watching stuff, but I'm good.
to tell people where to follow you? Do you want people to follow you?
I don't want to share.
I, as someone who's been followed most of their life, no, this is my first
By the secret police in foreign countries.
right. This is my first voluntary surveillance recording, but no,
Amazing.
gosh, could I?
You
I
don't
guess
need to, by the way. Some people just say nope, but you can.
Yeah, no, probably it's not a good idea.
Okay. All right. You'll remain mysterious then.
Okay.
Becky, where can people follow you?
At Paper BK Princess on Twitter.
And
Hold on. And I just want to be clear, you cannot follow me on the Friday Night Movie Instagram account because they don't have access to it and they won't give me access to it. So if you think you're going to direct message me through it, you won't. I will never see it. My siblings don't let me use it.
I guess you'll never know about all the direct messages we get for Becky.
Little sister being held hostage.
No, she made me send her screenshots yesterday, and I did because I'm polite.
Lily, where can people follow you?
You can follow me at Chichi, which is CHICHIK Gomez with a Z on Twitter, but you will see nothing. So that's on you for following me.
You'd be so funny on Twitter, Lily, if you used it.
But she'd have to learn how to use it, which neither
I
of
know
us
how to
do.
And
use
it took us a year to
It's
get her to
just
figure
a
out
lot of-
Venmo, which she's good at. It. All right.
Oh, yeah.
And you can
Loves
follow
requesting
me.
a Venmo from you.
Yeah.
That's not true. I've never
Exactly.
requested from anyone.
And
I
if
don't
you
know how to
request it
do
from
it. I
her,
only pay
You
people.
better attach that receipt in the notes.
Better.
I
All I
only
can say.
pay people because I don't know how to request. So, not true.
Just
And
teasing.
you can follow me at pancake and the number 4 table. That's pancake 4 table on Twitter and Instagram. All of the Friday Night Movie shenanigans are at Friday Night Movie, also on Twitter and Instagram. And go to the website, Friday Movie Pod, Friday Night Movie Pod.com to sign up for our less than twice a year
Monthly.
email at this rate. And a huge thank you to our amazing guest, a dear friend, Kristen Farnum, for being such an amazing part
Thank
of
you
the show.
so much. Your insight was phenomenal.
Thanks for keeping me relevant, you guys. The
By What
podcast
Does It
keeps me
Eat?
relevant.
Theme music is by What Does It Eat? And have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.